family. My name is Vicki Dillard, and thank you so much for tuning into my personal channel here at VickiDillard.tv. I'm so pleased that you are with me today. How are y'all doing, family? I thought that I would come and pop on tonight so that I could speak on um, Nolan Wells, the very young black man who we believe was murdered in Mississippi. There's a lot of speculation about what took place there. And I want to speak to you briefly um, on some thoughts. And my perspective of this, I'm going to tell you now, is going to be very, very hopefully concise, but more metaphysical than just natural political chit chat. Talk back to me, somebody. And for those of you that know me, you know that I have a little bit of a ritual. And as you come in, be sure to come in giving us a big thumbs up, thumbs up. Be sure to like and be sure to share. In fact, let me get ready to see if I can share with a couple of folks on my community page, let them know that I am live. Family, on the count of three. On the count of three, if you would, I want everybody to hit that thumbs up button. On the count of three, I want you all to hit that thumbs up button, share, 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 hype, and do all the little stuff. Do all the stuff and stop. Talk like to me, somebody. On the count of three, I want everybody to hit that thumbs up button and share, share, share. I see some people coming on in. I always wanted Vicki's take on situations. Somebody said 1, 2, 3. All right, Vicki, you look beautiful. I always love everything you wear. Thank you so, so much. Beloved, somebody else says greeting. I see my moderator, Miss Lisa Parker, in the chat. Hey, precious. Somebody said, I love you. Somebody said, beautiful. I love you back, family. I love you back. I want to let you all know off the rip, you do not want to miss my highly acclaimed webinar called Bloodlines, How Bloodlines Shift Trade Lines. This particular webinar is not a free offering this time. So you're going to want to make an investment for your family lineage. It's coming up in just a couple of weeks, July 31st. Mark your calendars. Listen to me good, family. Do not miss this. The reason why you find people that tap into my teachings and that have been with me over the years, and the reason why they rock with me so heavy is because signs and wonders follow my work. My spiritual insights and the power that I transmit is no cap. It's authentic and it's real and it's backed by another dimension. And so my series that I've been doing for a long time about how bloodlines shift trade lines is about letting you know that we have the power to activate gifts, skills, and different types of abundance, both mystical, that is to say spiritual, and material resources based on the power of our essence, of our bloodline, of our lineage, and also of our spirit. Do you understand? So the powers that shouldn't be don't want to tell you that. You know why? Because they want us to rely on their credit system and the games that they play, because it's a type of algorithm. They want us to rely on their educational system. They tell us you go to school, get this degree, you'll be able to make X amount of dollars, but people come out, a lot of folks in debt. And a lot of times people end up having to make a living with, and not even in the area in which they have their degree. And they're still not able to really pay their bills and to live a decent life. They're always playing with our mind, with the stock market, with gas prices. They're always doing things to force us into a mindset of scarcity and relying only on their systems, because we've been trained to do that. And then they trained our parents to do that. And they trained our parents' parents to do that. So the only thing that we know is a 9 to 5, working 40 hours a week, 50 hours a week, 60 hours a week, and doing it within the confines of what they tell us and what they told us. But they don't want you to tap into something that's different from that. And so if you're listening to somebody like a Vicki Dillard that says, hey, let's tap into our ancient ancestral gifts. Let's tap into our spiritual gifts, because the world as we know it didn't always exist like this. How many of y'all know we just celebrated July 4th? Fake America. But fake America, was said to have been celebrating what? The 250-year anniversary of the United States. Is that right? How many of you all know that's America is brand new in that sense? The corporation that is the United States of America, that's new. How many of y'all know that's not that system in which the imperialists in the United States, that's a new system. So how many of you all know there was another way of existence before that? But some of you all have a spiritual stronghold on your mind. So the idea, the thought that it's even another way outside of the system that we've been trained in, and that we've invested our labor, our time, and our money into, you don't even want to think about it. So you relax into the counter matrix. I got to hit the gavel on it. You relax into it. You justify it. And you fortify its limits. And you fortify its madness. Because you've been trained to do it. And that's what you see often with your eyes and hear with your ears. So you're obedient like a dog and a slave. Somebody put a bone in the chat. So if you hear an alternative thought that comes from the most ancient human being, that is Vicki Dillard and the ancient Black woman, that tells you there was another way to be and another way to exist outside of the little young, brand new 250-year system that you see in place now, you would mock it. But your life is a damn mockery. What did I just say? Your life is the thing to laugh at. You know why? Because they want us to normalize a 40-year mortgage. Somebody said that ish is crazy. They want us to normalize $60,000 in loan debt. They want us to normalize getting a little tiny little old pension and stop. They want us to not even think about the fact there was a time that you could buy land and spend money on the construction items and the resources to buy it, but you would own the land. No, the life you live in is what's a joke. The life you live in is what's crazy. And I said all that to say, if you are somebody that wants to learn about, hear about, and be activated in another part of yourself, start investing in your spiritual life to create a new reality. If you know that there's got to be more, because what your life is producing, all the stuff that we was told to work hard for, it still ain't adding up. If your spirit knows that this 3D is not enough for you, not only materially, but you have a desire to burn the bridges behind you in your boring, mundane life, because you realize that you're moving from 20 to 30 to 40 to 50. And you realize it's got to be more than just getting up, taking a shower, shaving, going to the bathroom, eating, going to work, and doing it all over again Monday through Friday. If something in you knows it's got to be more than just what you're experiencing. If you know that you've had things to occur in your life that you can't explain, but you're so busy working a material job that you don't even have time to explore that other stuff, and you think it's crazy, and you feel even uncomfortable, even considering and exploring and mulling over the idea that perhaps you ought to be spending more time learning who you are, investing who you are, activating who you are. That's the only people I'm talking to. I'm not talking to the mere mortals. My conversation tonight, my insights tonight is directed at that one that believes that they're more than what meets the eye. And they're ready to burn the bridges of their mundane life and move into something else. And even if it's a bit tumultuous, even if it's into the unknown, it's still a new lifestyle. And it will be way more fulfilling. And you understand that you're making an impact, not only in this world, but in the world to come. I want you to click the link that's in my chat right now for July 31st. Make the investment for you and your lineage. Because in that webinar, not only am I going to give you insight and unmatched wisdom about the power of our bloodline to control markets, but also you're going to be a part of a collective ritual where we're going to begin to do purification ceremony together collectively concerning our bloodlines. Because how many of y'all know some of you all got some dirty little things in your family that you know about? And some of you got some dirty little things in your family that you don't know about. Some of you got stuff in your family that you were ashamed to tell other people about. And some of you all are keeping family secrets. But you don't realize that because there's a level of guilt there, and because there is a familiar, let's just call it block, and some say curse, we want to deal with that so that it will free you in the spirit realm to go further. How many of you all know that when you're in a messy world, you need to be in a safe environment, an environment that will recognize that messiness and be able to address it in the unseen first? Why? Because everything you see came from the unseen. So the reason why we're struggling is because we're trying to remedy stuff just from the outside, just physically. Some of you all are going to psychologists and therapists. Some of you have tried to forget certain things. Some of you continuously see certain patterns in your life. The purpose of me doing this together is because when there is a collective that's moving, especially as it relates to our ancestral energy and families and spiritual teams, it causes our impact to be greater. It's like a force multiplier. And once the spirit is properly calibrated, that automatically will have an impact on your material reality. So because that takes time to start getting momentum in your life to shift into a new trajectory, you want to get started today. And if you know, especially that your family's been through stuff and you don't want your children to go through it, this is especially for you. But even if you don't have children, you should desire a new life for yourself. And I'm going to explain to you how you not only have a terrestrial or a natural family, you have a supernatural family, and how you can begin to work and stay tapped in with them and also shape the new world to come, including our economic reality. But I'm also going to get and show you in no limit of time about the ancient civilization and how certain secret occult organizations and how the current powers that be go to extremes so that you'll never tap into that part of you. And they don't have to work real hard to keep you out of it, because many of you mock people like Vicki Dillard. On the one hand, you're intrigued by what you call secret societies and the secret life of other folks, the powerful, the influential, and the rich. And many of you gossip and talk about and discuss that you believe that they're engaged in dark forms of magic and spirituality. So that means that you acknowledge that they're doing something spiritual in order for them to get the outcomes that they have, but you're not willing to tap into your righteous spiritual systems. And if I tell you that your ancient Black mamas and daddies, who are more ancient than any other people on the planet, were engaged in a different type of spirituality, some of you all will call it demonic, while embracing your feckless, weak, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, stringy-haired Jesus that they gave you to keep you weak. You will fight me to keep that image and to keep that satanic theology before you're even willing to consider the more ancient spiritual systems and religions, before Jesus even came along, the Jesus as you know it. Click the link in the chat and don't you dare miss July 31st. I don't care if you got to work, change it. Put your notice in now. Budget your money now. Allocate the funds now. Because as it's written, if you sow to the Spirit, you'll reap of the Spirit. Somebody just said, I'm going to be there. I know that's right. If you want something you never had, you better do something you've never done. We're in the age of Epstein. We're in the age of BRICS, where the global South is taking over the new economy. In the United States, petrodollar is falling faster than even what most believed it would. And we're seeing it in real time. You're seeing wars domestically and internationally. And all the stuff that they're telling us to do, including voting, ain't cutting it. Somebody else, Kimberly, just said, I'm already registered. I know that's right, sis. So click that link, and I can assure you this. I would never guarantee specific types of results. I promise you on this day, this will happen. But what I can guarantee you is transformation. I can guarantee that you'll be moving into the right direction to live a life beyond your wildest dreams that's going to affect this life and the worlds to come. Go to VickiPlanet.com. That's my website, and click the link above. Enough of that. Let's get into our conversation today about Nolan Wells. Yes? About Nolan Wells. Now, I really should be telling my Instagram family that I'm here. On the count of 3, for those of you that haven't, be sure to hit that thumbs up button and share, share, share. 1, 2, 3. Thumbs up. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Share, 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 share. Share, 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 share. Thank you so very much. Now, family. How many of you all let me pull up my Instagram real quick, have heard about the young Black man that's believed to have been murdered? It's speculation about what actually happened to him, but he came up dead. We'll say that much. But many are speculating about what really happened down there in Mississippi recently. How many of you all been hearing about that? Yes? Talk black to me, somebody. Okay. Let me let my Instagram family know while I'm talking to you all. Is that all right? Can I do that? Can I let my Instagram family know at the same time while I'm talking to you all? Yes? Peace, family. Thank you all so much. Somebody said that you're here from out of Memphis. Yes, Ashe. Peace, Instagram. Peace, peace, Instagram. This is your sister with the curly braids. Instagram, I am live right now on my personal YouTube channel at Vicki Dillard TV, and you can get me there by going to YouTube at Vicki Dillard TV, or just click or type in, go straight to the link at vickidillard.tv. Yes. So Instagram, I want you to come on over right now, Instagram to YouTube, because I am discussing the occult reason that Nolan Wells was killed in Mississippi, believed to be killed in Mississippi. Now, I'm going to say this for starters. And what I'm about to say right now may not seem very profound to those of you who are only solely reliant on things that you're told, things that you hear with your ears and see with your natural eyes. Talk back to me, somebody. One of the things that many of you all that have followed me over the years on different platforms, and those of you that are familiar with my political, geopolitical, and spiritual commentary, is that I often emphasize spirituality in everything. And the reason I do that is because everything you see, somebody finish it with me. I teach this often. Who's this? Can hardly read your name. Is that Princeton Rogers? Your gift is blessed, beloved, 1,000-fold. Thank you for all the work that you do for us, your family. We love you. You are so welcome. I love you back. And thank you again for your very, very kind gift. Listen, the reason I often emphasize spirituality, even when I am talking about politics, and I've done this for years, is because everything you see, I see y'all putting it in the chat, everything you see came from what? Everything you can't see. Now, another thing that you all hear me talk about a lot is the root of every major religion, where it came from. You often hear me talk about the original muses that sparked multiple civilizations' golden ages. Talk back to me, somebody. Why does Vicki discuss things related to the original Vatican? That the original Vatican, the literal place where the Vatican is situated, that place they call Italy right now, is exactly where some of our ancient Sybil Black mothers would prophesy from. And that they were the original Vatican, the ancient sacerdotal seat, all over the world, under many names, different tribes and people throughout the known world. And they helped to guide the planet. Why do I bring that up? Why do you hear me constantly discuss the profundity and the power and the authority of multiple civilizations? Because the world that you're in now is in a hell of a condition and is replete with corruption, malware, and the powers that be that's running it stole the ancient sacerdotal seat, sacred seat from our ancient Black mamas. And the reason why the world is in the condition it's in is because of that takeover. Now, some of you will listen to all kinds of commentary and talk and people and influencers about everything but what the hell I'm saying. Some of you all are preoccupied and enamored with different types of secret societies, the Rothschilds, certain elements of the deep state, certain bloodlines. But when I tell you about the supreme power of your ancient mamas, and that heads of state came to them before they made decisions, and that they were the makers of kings and emperors and pharaohs, and that no major military leader made a decision without running it by her first, and that modern Islam, modern Christianity, sects of you Hebrews, you Israelites, you Jews, Hinduism, and other major religions, to name a few, all came from the root of her, because she was the portal between worlds. You would laugh me to scorn. And you would have the nerve to move on to another topic, like whatever the hell else you're talking about even matters. I will tell you that the world is under judgment, and that the issues that we find ourselves in, dealing with, wrestling with, that the source and the foundation of global problems and issues, from ancient Persia, which is modern Iran, to the stuff that we're hearing about in what we call the United States, but the Americas, throughout the continent of Africa, damn it, Antarctica, Asia, North America, South America, Europe, Australia. If I tell you that the overthrow of her just divine influence has everything to do with stuff that you call climate change, economic issue, devastation, and war, you move on to another subject. And when I give you evidence that your scholars can neither gainsay nor resist, the most spiritual of you disrespect me. When you all see that the former press secretary, when you all see mainstream media folk, when you see certain religious people that look to silence Vicki Dillard or are triggered by me, your mind has not yet grasped that the issue is spiritual warfare. And the reason I emphasize these matters in all things is not only because everything you see came from everything you can't see. So you must start with spirituality first, because everything came from there. The reason I emphasize authority, and the reason why I challenge who you get with your theology and your philosophy and your worldview from, because, beloved, I want to know if you are possessed by the real devil or not. Because, see, there are many voices out there that perpetrate a fraud. And there are a lot of voices that sound good. And you've got folks that even say some stuff similar to Vicki Dillard, but their spirit lacks the impact because you are not given the divine sanction and the power to do this unique work. So some of you support them and you elevate frauds. They don't have the power to move you to the next level, but they sound good. And many of you have a propensity to give credence to them, repost to them, support to them, not realizing that you're actually contributing to the delay of the progression of the new world. And you are actually tethering yourself to the counter matrix. Nolan Wells, this black boy athlete in Mississippi that was hanging out with a bunch of white boys and comes up dead. I was born and raised in Mississippi. How many of y'all know I'm a Mississippi fire? A Mississippi Southern girl, deep, dirty South. How many of y'all know that? And there's hardly another state that when you say the name, immediately you not only would recollect logically the history of oppression from that state, but you can feel it when you say Mississippi. Talk black to me, somebody. Am I right? We know injustice happened in Tennessee and Alabama, yes, Florida, Georgia, Texas, and even some of the Midwest and northern states throughout the United States. Don't ever get that twisted. But there is something that is uniquely different when you invoke Mississippi. Am I right, family? Look at me. And them folks know that Mississippi needed to be involved in this here ritual. Allegedly, 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 allegedly. And they knew a young black athlete who's attractive, with a lot of suspicion surrounding his homeboys that are primarily white. With ties to law enforcement, the judiciary, and some more stuff. This case is unusual because have you all noticed that in addition to black folks talking about this nonstop, y'all are getting a whole lot of views, a whole lot of YouTube money, talking about every little aspect of this. But so a whole lot of white people now. Did y'all notice that? And do you all understand that you're talking about this in a way that you have not been talking about the other very serious issues? And even a lot of other black folks that came up missing in recent times that's been hung on trees. In recent times that gets no news coverage. Let me tell you something. A lot of the stories that get media play from mainstream media, alternative media, and both black and white and everybody in between, when you see almost an outsized amount of coverage, it's because they want you talking about it. Don't you all find that there is something wrong with you when you are uninterested in other folks that come up missing? That comes up hanging up on that's been lynched recently. And that doesn't move you at all. But this particular story is getting coverage from so-called alternative media, mainstream media, black folks, white folks, everybody got something to say about this. I am suggesting, in case you're not following me good, that this is intentional. Yes, whoever just said Tyler Perry and Colin Kaepernick, all of them are involved. Some of them are saying that Tyler is paying for the funeral and Colin Kaepernick is paying for autopsy. Okay. People are invoking Byron Allen. So I titled today The Occult Reason Nolan Wells was unalived. Some of us say murdered in Mississippi. Ben Crump is in this too, yes? Some years ago, I spoke with Tamir Rice's mother. How many of you all remember 2014, 12-year-old Tamir Rice was killed when he was playing, I think it was a park or something, with a toy gun. And just a few seconds after the officer got out the car, he murdered this boy, this young boy, and it went all over the place. And Tamir's mom was working with Tamika Mallory, was working with some Black Lives Matter folks and all them, and even Ben Crump. Yeah, I ain't new to this. I spoke to his mother. She gave me some insight. Do you all know, and I did a broadcast on her on another platform too, but she and I were in direct contact. She stopped working with Ben Crump because she said that she felt he was coaching her. And Ben Crump told her that the city would not pay an angry Black woman. Something to that effect, she said. She said that she believed that Tamika Mallory, Sean King, and others needed to go help somebody else because she thought it was rather suspicious that with all of their quote-unquote expertise, they couldn't manage to get a conviction. I did multiple broadcasts on the details of that. I find it strange because, yes, he perhaps does some good work and others. I'm intentionally bringing up a bunch of different, I'm floating a lot of balloons right now on purpose. But I find it suspicious that the likes of the Ben Crumps, when they're looking to generate attention, that they never come to people like myself and others over the years that helped to move the needle in elections with the grassroots. But they always bypass us. And they don't seek our assistance when they are, quote unquote, doing things of justice. Tamir Rice's mother told me some things. And she said some things publicly years ago. She said she felt coached by Ben Crump. Ben Crump told her that she would not get paid by being an angry Black woman, something to that effect. That's what she said. But she was not, her goal was to make sure that there was punishment for the murder of her child. So I was listening to Nolan's parents. And some of you may think certain things are appropriate or inappropriate. I don't give a damn what you think. I'm a prophetess. So the way you move is not how I'm supposed to be moving. Keep that in your mind when you start thinking, we should not say. No, you shouldn't say. You shouldn't do because you ain't me, you see. So I was listening to her and her husband in an interview with the Griot. The Griot is alleged to be a Black platform that blocked me years ago. For my truth telling. She was talking as if she was coached, in my opinion, by Ben Crump to posture themselves in a way to ensure Did they get paid? Tamir's mom, her focus was justice. And some of you wonder why we're in the same condition that we're in, because you ninjas are sitting up here talking about every little aspect of the case. The latest thing that this friend said. This one said, no, that was him talking. This one said he don't know. This one's mom is a judge. This one is that. This one is that. And all of those have its truth in it and its importance. But this don't feel right to me. Because see, some of you all that's talking about justice for Nolan, you don't ride with Vicki Dillard when day after day, damn it, it's Black History Month for me. And I don't just talk about Black history stuff. I do geopolitical stuff. And you make it your business to keep your distance from me or to try to replace my voice. Or you think you could do a better job. So you start talking about political news instead of elevating the divine voices like mine that are supposed to be doing a unique work. You all in recent times know how the pandemic started, right? It started with us talking about this COVID stuff. How many of y'all remember some of the white supremacists came out, said they was intentionally going to the stores coughing on stuff? How many of y'all know I was believing in them shutting their mouths up, everybody washing their hands? How many I was down for all that? Wash your hands, right? Stay away from me. But how many of you all know shortly after that, they start changing the tune, telling everybody we got to start getting shots. And then they started mandating shots. And then they start threatening people's jobs if they don't get the shots. Then you was in fear of losing your home if you didn't get the shot. Some Black folks in particular lost homes, businesses. Look at me. They shut the whole world down. I said they shut the whole world down over COVID. And are y'all going to sit here and pretend like that they didn't have the whole wide world tricked out? So y'all just going to go with this? And we're not going to ask no questions? And we're not going to be about that life this time and not just speculating online? And now we're finding out that certain people are sicker than what we were told. Joy Reid, Don Lemon, when they had their big platforms, they were mocking Black folks when Black women and others were saying that they were having fibroid issues and they were having symptoms because of the shot. Joy Reid mocked Black folks when she said they're actually researching it. A think tank, a newspaper called The Draft came against me and put me in their newspaper because I covered Tyler Perry on Gayle King's morning show. Out of his own mouth, I played the clip out of his own mouth where Tyler Perry first said that he wasn't going to take the shot. But he said that the medical industry called him. How do y'all know that? So the people tried to discredit me by putting me in the newspaper. And the reason why I was doing that angle is because on the different networks I was on, the platforms, if I said the word COVID, how many of y'all remember they was messing with the algorithm? They would shut down the channel or they would remove your video for saying that. How many of y'all know I was the one that invented the word cocoa, coming up with an alternative word? How many of y'all know I didn't go into in-depth with certain things? So that's the reason why I created an offline, private, cheap, low-cost 911 underground about COVID. I did different ones. I brought in Brother Risa Islam on a couple. That was me that did that, brought him in. I brought in Dr. Bowling. I was told that he passed. Dr. Bowling is a traditional doctor, but he's specified as a virologist. He was on the Vatican's board for vaccines, where he's said to have passed away now. Even though he does traditional medicine, he's a surgeon, he trains other doctors. But that was his specific expertise. He dealt with Ebola and a bunch of stuff. Well, he came out and raised questions against the shot. Do you know Roland Martin interviewed him, but Dr. Bolin made Roland look like a fool. He was on even mainstream news, and they had to hurry up and get him off because this doctor, because he was normally for different other vaccines, they couldn't believe that he was calling into question the suspicion about the COVID stuff. Well, I brought him in for my 911 underground webinar. I think we did 2 together. I brought y'all the best. And of course, as the goddess, I did one myself and handle business. I would love to do another one with my brother Reese Islam, but we have to talk offline to see if I could get him again. But I was trying to do some stuff with him. I think at one time I even tried to do some stuff with Dr. Wesley Muhammad on one of the webinars. Yeah. Unfortunately, that didn't work out. But I was trying to bring you all the best minds on different aspects and different research for this. But they tricked us and they lied to the world. They messed with the economy. And behind the scenes, the powers that shouldn't be was doing some other dirty stuff that we're seeing play out now. I'm bringing that up in this context to tell you that what I'm about to say, that there is an occult reason for all this that we're seeing, you ain't in no position to mock me when some of you all got the shots. You cannot mock me, baby, when we see that they pimp the whole world and literally shut down the whole world, only to find out that there were so many lies and so many different agendas that was going on and that's still going on, that they was testing you during COVID. And not just from the shots. I was the one that had a source that was in the military before anybody was out there talking about the military stuff. I got an anonymous, credible tip where they gave me an internal document from the military that showed specific things that they were demanding of the soldiers. So before it hit mainstream news, your sister with the curly braids, Vicki Dillard right here, who you looking and listening to right now, this girl, I broke the news about what they were demanding of some of the soldiers because I was given the direct memo that one of the military personnel ended up getting. How many of y'all know today that some of the folks in the military ended up prevailing in the legal case because they were basically being tested on? And because when you're in the military, you don't necessarily have the same rights as, of course, citizens. Some of the things there are compelled. It's mandatory. They were in a little bit of different position, especially early on. I'm telling you to remember those lessons and don't be stupid. And I'm telling you that I'm going to go further in my ancestors webinar, July 31st, about how we tap into our ancestral bloodlines to change our condition. Some of you, Instagram, I was telling my YouTube family here earlier that some of you all have family lines where you're ashamed of certain things that your family carries. Some of your family, and perhaps some of you, have done some sick things that you're ashamed of. You need to address that spiritually. You need to address that spiritually so that you can help bring balance to your world, and then by extension, the world. They are doing things with our minds where some of you all actually think that you're intelligent and that you're coming to your own conclusions on stuff. But your mind is actually being manipulated in ways that you don't even understand. And some of you all don't understand, and they don't want you to understand, that within your bloodline, not just blood, physical blood, but definitely physical blood, but there's also a vibrational or an energetic lineage that you're connected to that has the power to affect outcomes on the planet. Virgil, your $20 gift is blessed 1,000-fold, beloved. But some of you all want to talk more about the deep state and other little trending philosophical things that you hear. If you all hear anybody say anything else that you think is profound or interconnected to something you heard me say, you're going to make sure that you give them your support. But you don't want to come get it from me. You know, in the streets, some of the drug dealers would call certain drugs stepped on. What does it mean when something is stepped on? Tell me, family. What does it mean when they tell us that certain things were stepped on? Tell me what that means, family, real quick. Instagram, come on over to VickiDillard.tv. I'm getting ready to end my broadcast there, here on my channel at VickiDillard.tv. But Instagram, be sure to make sure that you don't miss how bloodlines shift trade lines, ancestors webinar. We're going to do some things related to your spiritual connection. We need to clean that up. I'm going to give you insight and give you a long history of how in ancient times it was our bloodline and our cosmic bloodlines that shift the economy, that move markets. And if you want to tap into that, I don't care if your credit is bad. I don't care if you're on the verge of bankruptcy. I don't care if your accountant's overdrawn. And I don't care if you don't even know where your rent is coming from next month. Come to it, because I'm talking about creating out of thin air. That's what I'm on. I know it's crazy. But so is your life of debt. And so is this 3D counter matrix that we're in. Click the link above so that you can secure your seat today. Make the investment for you and your lineage. Somebody tell me what stepped on means. Somebody said stepped on means what? It means over-processed. It's not pure. It's being cut with adulterants or even fentanyl. Now somebody up in here is real deep in it. That's exactly right. Is that what stepped on means? Somebody else just said it means it's diluted. It means it's tampered with. Somebody else just said it means it's watered down. You're exactly right. Look at me. Do you all understand that when you don't care about the authority from which you're getting spiritual insight from, when you just give Vicki the middle finger like you know better, you're getting spirituality that's stepped on. And it's going to corrupt you in the long run. And when I say in the long run, I mean in this world and in the world to come. See, some of you all don't understand that we're accomplishing things in this dimension, but also in another dimension. See, some of you all would believe everything as it relates to ufology, UFOs, and of course there's truth to some of that, and there's a whole lot of lies to a lot of that. Some of you will believe in all sorts of other phenomena. But if I tell you that the most original human being on the planet, from which everybody stole from, you would sit there and question me in a way that you would not question an imam or a bishop or a pope or some other spiritualist. But don't none of them outrank me. And don't you ever get it twisted. Because you can pontificate, and because your subject-verb agreement is intact, and because you went to some institution and you got a little piece of paper and you spent some time studying within the confines of what they told you, you think you smarter than your mama? Ninja, please. You would listen to anybody that's talking about extraterrestrials. But if I tell you that your ancient mamas walk with the gods and that your cosmic mama gave birth to them, and if I tell you that she had authority in the three worlds, Ninja, you would look at me in ways that you never would them. You better get your funny looking self out my face, newness. Don't nobody outrank the person that you're looking at right now. None, nowhere, on no day. And don't you ever forget it. And that means the person that can properly recalibrate you. Nobody is better suited to do it than the most ancient human being on the planet, but that is also a portal to the three worlds. And because you like it a certain way, proper and official, and because a lot of you all like scripture, even with this corruption, I will assuage you in this moment and give you a scripture. Can I do that for you? In the proper context. Let me give it to you. What does it say? Not many wise men after the flesh, not many noble. Watch this! But the divine God, as it's written, will use the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. So you think you so smart. You think you gonna skip me? You gotta be out of your mind. You see, the world, the changing of the gods and goddesses is underway. And right now, you look like you in it. You think you in it. But you keep reading about Rome and Mesopotamia and Egypt and Britain, when they used to be the most powerful civilizations and nations. And for some, it was unthinkable, their end. But before Rome ended, guess who prophesied their doom, 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 doom? The ancient Sibyl prophesied. So when you think you're powerful and when everything looks good and when your numbers look high and your bank account looks all right, and when the powers that shouldn't be recognizes you and give you an addy boy and a pat on the back, and when you get your little business card and your little office desk and your little website, and 2 or 3 people bring you on their platforms, you think you something. Ninja, please. If I be a prophetess and if I be more than what I appear to be in the natural, we're going to see who's going to be on the other side of this. And if it's going to be what I say before it's over. Instagram, I'll see you July 31st. YouTube, I'll see you July 31st. Go to VickiPlanet.com. Click the link above. YouTube, click the link that's pinned. I can't wait to see you again. YouTube fam, hold on 1 second. YouTube fam, hold on 1 second. Everybody hit that thumbs up button, share. I don't give a doggone what you got going on. Nothing is more important in your spiritual life. See, people that are frauds and people that are cheap, you both suffer from a form of projection. When you have somebody like me, whose work is backed by the divine, and because you're so used to different spiritual weirdos out there, you conflate me and mix me up with them. But you know, you all have dealt with rogue people on your jobs, but you still go to work. You have dealt with rogue people in all kinds of other environments. The government of the United States done lied to you, then kept you bound and do a whole bunch of other stuff, but you still keep giving them chances. So you want to say something in you don't feel right if you have to make an investment. No, ninja, money is a spirit. I give and have given over the years free content, free spiritual content, webinars. I've made stuff cheap, affordable, or free. And so the few times that I say, no, you need to make this investment, you're going to look at me like you crazy. I'm a spirituality. You go figure it out yourself, fool. Nothing is more important and nothing is more powerful than the divine things. And you ought to make an investment. How dare you, thief? How dare you, thief, even think that that's cool? The ancients would consider it damn near blasphemous to go before an oracle or divine clergy without a gift, an offering. Every station of society understood this cosmic law. But in modern times, we've conflated it. And some of you do shows and talks and comments. But you want the truth, you say. But you don't want to keep the warfare. You don't want to keep the war chest fat to ensure that somebody like Vicki Dillard can stay focused on the divine things, to make sure that her material things are taken care of. You would actually question, who you think you are, thief? How did you come up in your little tiny, corrupt, pathetic little mind that it ought to be nothing? You're broke, not because of the numbers on your bank statement. You're broke, not because of what's in your pocketbook or your wallet. You are broke because of your mindset. I, like you, have financial obligations, personal and business. I, like you, make sacrifices that the average person may not and has no idea that I make sacrifices for. But I know I'm more than what meets the eye. And I refuse to succumb to scarcity mindsets and scarcity institutions and systems. When our ancients could consult with divine beings that were in the sky, they would consult with energies that were underground. This too much for you little counter matrix mortals. And the reason heads of state, and the reason military leaders, the reason local tribal chiefs and others didn't make major decisions without consulting the goddess, the priestesses, and the prophetesses is because they tapped into a supernatural place to give them instructions on what to do that brought abundance, that brought remedy to their families, to their tribes, to their people, to their lands, and ultimately to the world. That was ancient protocol. Since the newest people on our planet took over, they've got us tethered and stuck in systems. And we reinforce these ways that are not natural to us. We've normalized having a mortgage for 30 years. I get it. I'm cool with it. If I get one, there's a modern system with it, and there's ways to do it within legal ways. We got to get credit, do all this other kind of stuff. But I'm just trying to let you all know there was another way in which they did those things. And I'm saying that if we don't tap into those dormant potentials that's already in us, in our cosmic lineage and in our blood lineage, we're going to stay stuck. And we'll be looking up another 500 years, another 1,000 years, talking about how did we get here and why are we still here? There's a lot of resistance with some of you now listening to me just even say something like this. The fact that I'm even talking like this. But your mind don't think twice about working a job for 40 years to get a little old pension. When everything you see came from everything you can't see. Somebody said, nobody can replace you, Queen Vicki. Don't you worry about that. You so precious. Are y'all listening? I said, are y'all listening? Everybody hit that thumbs up button, share, share, share. I'm almost done. Can y'all give me a couple more minutes? Let me put this on my Instagram. Look, let me post this thing real fast. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. The other thing that they don't want you to know, I talked about this before in my private webinars. How many of you all saw our brother Ryan Coogler's movie, Sinners? some time back. How many of you all saw that movie by Ryan Coogler? He's the writer of the movie Panthers, and then after that he did Sinners. He's in a bunch of huge box office movies. How many of y'all saw that? Talk back to me, somebody. How many of y'all saw Ryan Coogler's movie Sinners? Somebody said I haven't. Somebody said I love that movie. I loved it too, Miss Sharifa. Somebody said they watching it now. Good. Somebody says yes. Somebody said 3 times. Somebody said yes, yes, yes. Okay, watch this. If you haven't seen it, I would suggest you see it. Y'all rarely hear me sit up here talking about movies all the time. Tell the truth. I'm not one of them people that y'all finna see do no play pop. I don't do that. That's not my gift. That's not my style. Even when Sinners came out, I didn't go see it immediately. There was a lot of talk about it. All kind of people was discussing it. I finally went and looked at it. Are y'all listening? I enjoyed it thoroughly. Not only because, once again, even that movie was connected to Mississippi. How many of y'all know that it was about down south? A down south scene. It was inspired because Ryan Coogler actually said that he felt guilty because while he learned about his heritage, of course, his connection to the continent of Africa, which I believe was inspired his movie about the Panther. He said that he felt guilty because he was not even really connected with or familiar with his history, his national history. He actually called himself a foundational Black American. How many of y'all know Ryan Coogler actually called himself a foundational Black American? He said that in a couple of different places, I believe, but for sure, I played one of the clips on one of the broadcasts I did some months back last year, whenever I did it, when I discussed where he was doing an interview, he called himself a foundational Black American. But one of the things that he said was very, very interesting. Somebody said, yeah, I saw it twice. Somebody said they were about vampires. Right, because normally I don't watch movies like that about vampires. That's not my thing. But I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. Not only was it a movie that was extraordinary, that related to down south Mississippi, not only did it really hint at a lot of things that specifically relates to our heritage, but it had a huge spiritual Gnostic insight to it. A Southern Black Gnosticism to it. And even the vampirical portions of the vampires and stuff, all of that was about spiritual warfare and this deep occult, which just means hidden meaning to it, esoteric meaning to it. But you know what else? It was a beautiful love story. The extraordinary, potent and powerful and glorious connection between a man and a woman. Even with what some people maybe feel disagreeable elements of society and culture, it was so sweet. Somebody said, I love your wisdom. Thank you, precious. But there was something that he said, and there was something that he displayed in the movie. And I wonder how many of you all caught this. I've done broadcasts on African diaspora about this. Did I do this last year? I think I did a couple of shows on his movie. Because how many of y'all know all the white folks was mad by how well his movie did? So, of course, I had to talk about that. Look, but this is another element of the movie. Somebody said it was some deep stuff. Hell yeah, it was deep in many ways. But look at this. So not only did he talk about Black Gnosticism, spirituality, and thank God, damn it, it wasn't about just no Christianity. They had that element too, because when the dad was tripping and didn't want his son playing jazz, because how many of you all know that was a level of spiritual warfare? Because some of our people are messed up in the minds to think that jazz was demonic. But how many of you all know that white evangelicals, white preachers, and Black preachers was calling the devil's music? You know why? Because it's a spiritual warfare related to that. They don't want us tapping into a certain sound, musical vibration. So they label jazz as satanic and demonic. That's another story. But I love the fact that our sister used hoodoo, other ancient Black spiritual systems to activate and to affect outcomes and change. But not only that, did you all notice something very, very powerful that he said? Let me do this real quick. Everybody hit that thumbs up button, share, family. Get your seat for July 31st. I want to see all of you out there. No excuses. I don't care what you got going on. July 31st, shape your family lineage, because there's a lot of stuff that obviously y'all know Vicki's. You know how people say stuff and people be hyping their stuff and the stuff don't live up to the hype. My stuff don't be hype. It's just divine. It's just it. My stuff is divine. That's why it's going to hit. But I also do private because there's a certain environment that you need to be into when certain levels of spirituality is discussed and when certain power is transferred. Some things like that don't need to be on YouTube. I know some people be trying to make themselves look good when they go into certain conversations, certain topics. They're just trying to show somebody that they got the deepness too. That misses the point. There's a reason why when a surgeon is doing surgery on you, that number one is why you have to have anesthesia. And there's another reason why the general public is not supposed to be in there. Similarly, when you're doing certain spiritual work, there needs to be an environment with greater controls on it. You understand? So you need to be in a more intense environment. That's why I do certain things that have to be in private places, because I want what I'm giving you to be more potent. And even if 2 or 3 devils show up, how many of y'all know devils still show up sometime? I have to do stuff related to them devils that I know gonna be there too. Because how many of y'all know devils sometimes pay for my high magic? Vicki, you are beautiful. Keep it. Thank you so much. Y'all hit that thumbs up button. Share, share, share. Watch this. I'm going to tell you something. I talked about this before. Y'all, this ain't even what I'm supposed to be talking about today. I know y'all like, Vicki, what does it got to do with the Nolan guy? I'm going to say a little bit more about him, but I want to, more importantly, get your bloodline right. Because what's happening with the Nolan Wells, yes, it was ritualistic in more ways than one. Am I saying that every person involved in it was involved knowingly? No. But am I saying some of them were? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Does it include government officials? Hell yeah. Does it include the media? Yep. Yes. When we're talking about occult things, spiritual things that are taking place, it does not necessarily mean that in every case, family, every person involved in it. Sometimes people are part of rituals that they don't even know that they've been pulled into. Y'all understand that? But it does not mean that it's still not spiritual. And some of you all will say, you all are such conspiracy theorists. All you ninjas do is think and just be logical. But you can prove that we're made of stardust, but you don't explore what that means to be made of stardust. You just stay mere mortals. You just stay in the matrix, and you be proud of your logic. That's all you got. You be proud that you can read what the New York Times say. You be proud when you get quote unquote new evidence. You be proud when you watch CBS give a story about what the boy that was on the boat that was there with him said. And then you be proud when you hear a BET say another thing, and then you put it together and you want me to give you a hand clap and an added board for a little conclusion you came to. Ninja, I'm unimpressed with you ninjas if that's all you can do. Dummy, that just means you're controlled. You ought to be trying to move into the realm of knowing stuff that you don't know. Yes, I brag about knowing stuff I don't know. Now go make sense of that. And when I'm saying being involved in a ritualistic thing, I'm not just sitting here running my mouth with you all like some folks do. They be on just talking for hours about ritualistic stuff, but they don't tell you what you're meant to do, activating your own magic. All they do is they'll sit there and tell you what other little secret groups is doing. When Beyonce was up there, when she made that little diamond, she was signaling to that. Did you see that superstar bring that white lady with all the black hair and all that? They done brought a witch. See, look at her scratching her arm. Some of you know what you're talking about, and a lot of you don't know what the hell you're talking about. And even those of you that might be onto something, you ain't got nothing to tell us about how to actually activate your own magic. You just be sitting up talking about all the other stuff and not even in any sort of an environment where you're knowing how to tap into your own magic. You just sit back and demonize something else with your weak self. Oh, I know what I'm talking about. That's all you do. Just sitting back with suspicion, thinking it's something to something, and sometimes it is. But you ain't doing no magic that's bringing the world into divine Maya, divine balance. Somebody just said useless learners. That's what I'm offering you. Something a little different on that. Watch this. Hold on, family. Thank you for your patience. 1 second. Talk black to me, somebody. Now, let me say this to you real quick. Real quick. I know let me show y'all something. Look at this real quick. We're sitting up here talking about Nolan Wells, and may he rest in peace. And that's important, family. Don't get me wrong. Please don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm trying to tell you what's wrong with us right now. Vicki, you are absolutely gorgeous. This is my first time here. Welcome, beloved. Somebody must be paying y'all to say this style. Y'all know I love that. This person is new to my, that's their first time there. Baby, you are so welcome. Y'all play too much. Stop playing to me, somebody. Family, what does this article say? Y'all see this headline? From CBS News. Let me turn it this way. Y'all see this headline from CBS News? What date is that on the article, family? What date is that on the article, family, for this article? Everybody hit that thumbs up button, share, share, share. Y'all see this? Can y'all see the date of this article? I'm going somewhere with this CBS News article. There's a reason I'm bringing this up. Yes, 2014. No, the 2014, that's the date at the top. The date of the article is 2019. Okay? Look. The date of the article is 2019. The headline says 2014. Now listen to what I'm about to say. Y'all listening? What does it say? 6 men with ties to Michael Brown protests have died since 2014. Now, are they talking about 6 men that died like Mike Brown? How many of y'all know Mike Brown, of the tragedy of Mike Brown? I'm going to give you a little bit of background in just a minute. No. Why is Vicki bringing this up? You're going to see in just a minute. Watch this. It says 2 young men were found dead inside torched cars. Are y'all listening? 3 others died of apparent suicides. Another collapsed on a bus. His death ruled an overdose. 6 deaths. What does it say? Six deaths. Y'all see it? All involving men with connections to protests in Ferguson, Missouri. Drew attention on social media and speculation in the activist community that something sinister was at play. Somebody say karma got it. No, baby, karma didn't get him. you're missing what this article is talking about. In other words, in the wake of the Michael Brown protest, the actual grassroots, the real activists, not those that were handpicked, not the useless ones, those that were genuine, powerful grassroots leaders, activists from the grassroots, they were the ones that suspiciously died that was connected to the protest. Not those that were the subject of protest, like Mike Brown. No. The ones that were actually the activists from the ground. Let me read a little more. I'm going to tell you why I'm bringing this up in a minute. It says, police said there is no evidence that deaths have anything to do with the protest stemming from a white police officer's fatal shooting of 18-year-old Michael Brown. Y'all remember, right? And the only two were homicides with no known link to the protest. But some activists said their concerns about a possible connection arise out of a culture of fear that persists in Ferguson 4.5 years after Brown's death, citing threats. Y'all listening? It says mostly anonymous that protest leaders continue to receive. Are y'all listening? The Reverend Darrell Gray said, in case you all want to sit here and play dumb and move on to another subject, but we ain't got resolved with this one. That's why I'm bringing this up. Y'all see this? The Reverend Darrell Gray said he found a box inside his car. What did he say? When the bomb squad arrived, no explosives were found, but a 6-foot python was inside. Y'all ain't listening. Quote, everybody was on pins and needles, Gray said of his fellow activists. No arrests have been made in the 2 homicides. St. Louis County Police spokesman Sean McGuire said witnesses have simply refused to come forward. Y'all hear that? Leaving detectives with no answers for why the men were targeted. We don't believe either one was connected to each other, McGuire said, but adding, it's tough to come up with the motive without a suspect. Ferguson erupted in protest August 2014 after Darren Wilson fatally shot Brown during a street confrontation. Y'all remember that, right? Brown was unarmed, but Wilson said he fired in self-defense when the black teenager came at him menacingly. A grand jury declined to charge Wilson in November 2014, prompting one of the most violent nights of demonstrations and one of the first activist deaths. DeAndre Joshua's body was found inside, are y'all listening? A burned car blocks from the protest. The 20-year-old was shot in the head before the car was torched. Y'all gonna play like we finna just move on to another subject when the activists that were actually starting real protest come up shot in the head and burned in the car? Oh yeah, we live, baby. Are y'all listening? Listen. The 20-year-old was shot in the head before the car torched. Y'all raise your hand if y'all recognize this next name. Darren Seals, shown on video confronting Brown's mother that same night, met an almost identical fate 2 years later. Raise your hand if y'all heard about the very real, powerful Darren Seals. What happened to him? Once again, these are activists. Darren Seals, shown on the video confronting Brown's mother, it says that same night met an almost identical fate 2 years later. The 29-year-old bullet-riddled body was found inside a burning car in September 2016. 4 others also died. 3 of them ruled a suicide. Look at their names. Marshawn McCarl, Edward Crawford Jr., Danye Jones. How many of y'all recall this young man? I covered his story. How many of y'all remember this? I told you I've been on multiple platforms. I've been doing this. So I don't want to hear. See, this is another problem with y'all. Y'all will listen to obscure white people doing podcasts on Black lives, getting a whole bunch of YouTube money. Y'all be watching like, ooh. But the people like me that do nonstop coverage day in and day out for years, that's always covering the truth. Y'all want to act brand new with it. I got to keep bringing this up because this has everything to do the reason why we haven't found, we have not realized rather revolution with us. And whoever just brought up Reverend Al Sharpton, that's right. His little funny looking self was standing out there too. Everybody should be suspicious because you see Crump and Al Sharpton in this. Everybody. How many of you all remember this young man? I'm going to briefly talk about them. What did I say first? Marshawn McCarl of Columbus, Ohio. What happened to him? One of the actors shot himself, they said. February 2016, outside the front of Ohio State House, police said. Y'all know that damn well that don't sound right. It says that he had been active in Ferguson. Edward Crawford, 27, fatally shot himself May 2017 after telling acquaintances he had been distraught over personal issues, police said. Y'all believe that bull crap? I said, Black family, y'all believe that? That the activists that was standing 10 toes down, the brothers that was coming with that ferocious energy, the only kind of men energy I want around me, I don't want no Reverend Al Sharpton energy around me. That be talking with a bunch of S's. I don't want no disrespect crump around me like that. And especially when Tamir's mom told us that she felt coached by him, and he told her that the people ain't gonna want to give no money to her because she's an angry Black woman. October 24-year-old Danye Jones, I covered him, was found hanging from a tree. Y'all look, I got to remind you all, because see, some of you all jump on this because the people tell you to jump on this. Y'all see white people jumping on this. Y'all see mainstream media jumping on this. Y'all see Don Lemon, who's online, jumping on this. You hear everybody else jumping. Now y'all want to talk. No, damn it. Somebody say, go to the authority on this. What does it say? October. I covered him. They weren't covering him like this. I covered him. October, 24-year-old Danye Jones was found hanging from a tree in the yard in his North St. Louis home. The death was ruled a suicide. His mother, Melissa McKinney, was active in Ferguson. She said it was a lynching. If you're out there and you had something to do with my child's death, the murder, the lynching of Danye Jones, you better start turning in your folks, she said, following his death. Y'all see him there? Do y'all even remember this? Bassem Masri, 31-year-old, it says Palestinian American, who frequently live streamed video of Ferguson demonstrations, was found unresponsive on a bus in November and couldn't be revived. Toxicology results released in February showed he died of an overdose of fentanyl. The Ferguson protests added momentum to the national Black Lives Matter movement, but they also generated resentment from people angered by TV footage of protesters hurling rocks and insults at police. Amid lingering anger, activists and observers said that while they see no clear connection between the deaths and the protests, they can't help but wonder about the thoroughness of the investigation. These protesters and their deaths may not be a high priority for police since there is this antagonistic relationship, Washington University sociologist Otis Johnson said. I think there is a need for them to have greater sense of urgency. Activists said in the years since the protests, they have been targeted in dangerous ways. Something is happening. Cori Bush, a frequent leader of Ferguson protests. I've been vocal about the things I've experienced and still experience: the harassment, the intimidation, the death threats, the death attempts. Bush said her car has been run off the road. Her home was vandalized, and in 2014, someone shot a bullet into her car, narrowly missing her daughter, who was 13 at the time. She suspects white supremacists or police sympathizers. Living under constant threat is exhausting, she said, but she won't give in. They shut us up and they win, Bush said. Now, family, why is Vicki bringing this up? Why is Vicki bringing this up? Why is Vicki bringing this up? How many of you I remember seeing my post a few months ago? I'm trying to pull up his picture. How many of y'all recognize this picture on your screen? I'm gonna try to hide his name. I'm trying to see how many of y'all really be following me and listening like that. Child, this thing ain't gonna let me. Oh yeah. Does anybody recognize this man right here? Put his name in the chat if you recognize this man's picture. This is not somebody that we learned too much about. Does anybody recognize this beautiful, glorious face right here on your screen? Somebody put the name of this man who's on your screen. I'm trying to see what my people see. We don't hear enough about him. I've talked about him before, but I'm gonna keep talking about him. And I ain't talking about just during February. Somebody said Alton Sterling. Nope. Somebody said Alabama Sheriff. What's his name though? Put his name in the chat. I said put his name in the chat. Y'all know, you close. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Somebody tell me, who is this man that you looking at? What is his name? I'll tell you. It's Mr. Lucius Emerson. Who is Mr. Lucius Emerson, family? Whoever just said Alabama Sheriff, yes, like I said, you was right, but I wanted you to tell me his name. And I want you all to remember his name. Lucius Emerson. It's spelled Lucius Emerson. Amerson. Not Anderson, Emerson. Look at me. Look at me. When you try to look him up, the truth of who this man is, you won't find it easily online. And when you do your research, some of you will find that even certain white people and white groups honor him. But white people are not really telling you why they're honoring him. I am telling you the reason why they're doing it is so that Black folks don't dig into who this man really is and what he really did. Why am I bringing him up? I said, why am I bringing him up? I said, why am I bringing him up? Y'all ready? What did Vicki tell us about him some time back? And why do I want you all to be reminded of who this brother is? Mr. Lucius Emerson, family, this Black sheriff, when he became sheriff, he freaked everybody out. When you look him up, you will find this is an iconic picture of him when the press came after him when he became sheriff. The first Black sheriff after Reconstruction. Y'all know that's why they were scared to death, right? Look at him. Y'all see that picture of the press? The white press around here? Baby, how many of y'all know that the white press, whenever they be wanting to ask y'all questions, how many of y'all know that they are just a form of, that's just them trying to debrief you. They really ain't nothing but agents, but they just pretend like they reporters, but they trying to extract as much information out of you. White people be looking for any and all kind of clues so they'll know your next move. Y'all see him? Y'all see Mr. Lucius Emerson? Look at him, y'all. Now look at the brothers. Y'all see that Black man standing next to him? Look how they look. Don't the brothers look nice and clean? Don't the brother that looks next to him look like he got his pants ironed? Don't he look all together? Don't he look like that he's about that life and they know how to keep their mouth shut? Vicki, where you going with this? The reason why you got to dig hard to find out who he is, and that the information that you will find is they're not telling you the real truth of who he is because Mr. Lucius Emerson, when he became sheriff in Alabama, Black folks, some of them came up, lynched, murdered, and what have you. So Sheriff Emerson, when he found out who did it, Monday, an announcement came, brother came up missing, Black man was murdered. Guess what happened? All of a sudden, the white man that was alleged to have unalived him, he came up missing. Just was missing, but just to be missing. Look, y'all, the next month, another Black person was lynched, murdered. Guess what happened? Magically, another white person just came. Body floated up in the water, a lake. Just body was in the lake. They asked the sheriff. The sheriff just didn't. Just the man went fishing. White boy went fishing. Just was an accident. Watch this. That kept happening. So white folks started to become suspicious of the Black sheriff and said, damn it, every time we take out one of the niggers, the sheriff ain't got nothing. He one of us come up missing. Body floating up out the lake and stuff. Watch this. So the white supremacists, and some say the KKK, put a bounty on Sheriff Emerson's head because so many of their people came up dead, just out of here. Just bodies floating, cars underwater, ran off the stuff, and they not here no more. Whoopsie daisy. Somebody say whoopsie daisy. Somebody say whoopsie daisy. Watch this. So they put a bounty out on his head, posted it. Y'all listening? They put a bounty out on his head, put money on his head to take him out. Guess what Mr. Emerson did? This Black sheriff. Look, this real life family. Somebody say real life. Guess what the Black sheriff did? Let me back up. I forgot to tell you that when he became sheriff, the other white boys was pissed that he was elected to be sheriff. So the other white sheriffs, associate deputies, they quit. So guess what? Lucius Emerson, guess who he hired? Other Black men, likely, like this brother here. Oops. Let me pull that picture back up. Come on now. Dang it. Here we go. Y'all see it now? Okay, let me put it back up. Y'all see it? Oh, Lord. My screen's doing too much. Come on now. Now I can't find it. Anyway, the brother that you saw that looked real sleek, like he was in a uniform, Mr. Lucius, when the white boys quit, when they found out that he was their boss, he was the new sheriff, the white boys, the other ones, the deputies quit. So he hired Black men that were former military to take their place. Watch this. So keep that in mind. So they protested. So Mr. Lucy said, okay, Ninja, we served in all y'all's wards. Fool, we got this. So he hired the brothers, gave them good jobs, and they became his deputies and started working in the sheriff's department with him, his own, already qualified warriors, soldiers. Look, y'all. So, because so many white boys came up unalived, not hurt, but with obituaries. Not beat up, not bloody, not threatened. Out of here. Obituary. Not obituary, but obituaries. Watch this. Mr. Emerson. Why do I feel joy talking about this? Look, Mr. Emerson, they threatened him. The white boys, enough is enough, damn it. Too many of us is dying and being murdered. Look. So they put a bounty on his head. Guess what Mr. Emerson did? He gave out a few more obituaries in response. And on top of that, a couple of houses and barns just accidentally caught on fire and blew up. Just more obituaries, but then barns and houses was caught on fire and just blew up, just was disintegrated, just because, just because. What y'all laughing at? This is y'all. What y'all laughing at? So he didn't get scared. He didn't retreat. He didn't say, what we gonna do? Let me tell you something, Black family. You will never hear me tell you to do anything illegal. And I'm real strict with them being ethical. But Mr. Emerson wasn't sitting there talking about, well, white folks was lynching our people and don't nobody know what the hell is going on. No. Is there a connection? What we gonna do? That's the second one. Mr. Emerson understood the nature of the enemy. And Mr. Emerson understood what to do when he put on that uniform. Mr. Emerson wasn't no Al Sharpton. Mr. Emerson did not get a job and go to sleep and get drunk. Mr. Emerson said, I know what to do. Watch this. So because so many white supremacists came up missing, they got scared. They started filing complaints. And guess who started doing an investigation? The feds. But when the feds started to ask the other Black deputies and other people in the sheriff's department questions, guess what the other brothers did when they were questioned? I said, guess what the other deputies, guess what the other Black employees in the office did? Guess what they did when the feds came down to investigate? Somebody said they snitched. Hell no. Every one of them kept their mouths shut. And they stayed on code. So they had no clue what to do. And allegedly, somebody say allegedly, them white sheets, the KKK, they took them white sheets off. Allegedly. I can't verify that part of the story. But allegedly, they took the white sheets off. Watch this. And the Black residents of Alabama started to live happily ever after. Now, you all may need to go study him because I don't want that scared to death energy around none of our people. And you best believe that everybody in their sheriff's office knew that they was not going to just be living comfortable if they snitched and if they sold out anybody. Number one, he was already around trained soldiers, so you already know what time it is. See, too many of you brothers are out here on manosphere talking too damn much and giving all these disclaimers, and you all giving stipulations and all these qualifications about the type of woman that you will fight for because you scary, ninja. Do you think, and I'm not familiar with his wife or what have you, But do you think that whatever woman was his woman was fussing about him paying the bills? No, ninja. Because everything about him screams man. Screams he know what to do. He wasn't no hothead that was just out there doing stupid stuff, taking people out just because. There's an automatic reverence and a respect that a man gets when he know what to do, damn it. This man wasn't running his mouth. He wasn't talking too much with the media. He wasn't blustering and just trying to be hard just to be hard, fool. He was protecting the people, and he wanted his own not to live in fear over people that were trying to take them out and violate the law to get them out the planet. So he properly used his office. Black family, we are not the largest group of people in the military, but for years, Black people make up a disproportionate number of military. We served in every war. We're the most intelligent. We can be the most fit and the most strategic. If they got people that can investigate, we got people that can investigate. If they got people that know your address, we got people that know your address. And that's all I'm going to say about that. The law requires us to stand our ground when our life is threatened. And I'm talking about when we follow the law in the proper context. I said when we follow the law in the proper context. But is something wrong with you if y'all sitting up here talking about we just still need answers? Is something wrong with you when you are sitting here making them a God? Let me tell you something. In the military, there's a such thing as soldiers that are there voluntarily and involuntarily. How many of you all know that some militaries have drafts? That means that they can draft you into war whether you want to be there or not. Meaning it's compulsory. Meaning it's mandatory. It doesn't matter how you planned your life. It didn't matter what degree you was going after, what school you were in. Talk black to me, somebody. Somebody just said, this is phenomenal tonight. Ashe, listen. Some of you want your safe existence. And some of you are pissed because you feel that you didn't sign up for this war. But here, this lady prophesied to you. Let me tell you something. Some of you, unbeknownst to you, maybe in recent years, maybe in recent moments, some of you have been chosen by the divine for this moment to sacrifice. I know you don't like to hear that. But some of you like this man named Jesus. And to this day, you are still moved by this story of him being crucified on the cross. Even though you ain't moved by the crucifixions in Mississippi. You ain't moved by the crucifixions in Alabama, damn it. But you will cry over this Jesus that they say existed 2,000 years ago, that died for your sins. But you don't know your black auntie's name that was strung up. You don't know about that Calvary in Mississippi. Let me tell you something. There is more to your life into your existence. And some of you, under the sound of my voice, it is discomforting to hear me say, especially to my men, that some of you that's out here blustering and talking online and running to other husky men's arms, talking about women and how you gonna go 50-50 or you ain't finna pay it all, or talking about all the qualifications she need to have for you to love her. See, you supposed to be sacrificing. See, some of you don't have that energy to where you're willing to sacrifice for the good of the whole. And you don't see that your life and your dedication is the sweetest offering to the divine. So sweet that it would contribute to the liberation of your people and for your eternal glory. You don't want to hear that. But I'm going to prophesy to you that that's your destiny. So gird up your loins, ninja, and get your ass offline, running to testosterone and muscles and beards. Running to another man that want to talk and gossip about having problems with a woman and how all of you collectively don't want to pay. Because your ass is broke-minded, you want a penny pitch on your dollars. I don't want that broke ass money on me anyway, ninja. Don't no woman want to be with you. Probably you be on her and she's yawning and damn it on her phone, playing a card game, ain't even into it with you. You ain't moving her, bruh. Ninja, you don't have no swag. Because your energy is broke, she got to come up with a number to be with you. You talking about how women are nowadays, know how you are nowadays. You crazy, she go crazy. You crazy, she go crazy. Yeah. I'm going to prophesy to you. Your life ought to be that which you offer for the good of the whole. And the reason why we haven't received revolution is because the powers that shouldn't be know you are Ben Crump. And they know you are Al Sharpton. They know you are Dr. Jamal Bryant. As long as the price is right, as long as you make the rounds on the press, that's all it takes for you. But you ain't about to sacrifice yourself for the good of the whole. No, you want safety. And you don't know that the very ones of you that's trying to save your life, you're going to lose it. Hear me good. And don't you never get your existence twisted up. And let me say something to you right now that some of you are most certainly going to call blasphemous. But I'm your mama. You come from me cosmically and you come from us physically. Sit your ass down while I tell you something real good. You don't get to tell me about why I stitch you together. Oh, I said something right there, didn't I? Oh, Vicki, crazy for real. Your gift is blessed 1,000-fold, whoever just gave that gift. I say read, I can't read your name, but your gift is blessed. Listen, if I made you, if I brought you into existence, guess what I get to decide? How you can be most useful. Otherwise, you are a malfunction. I don't give a damn if you're making 6, 7, 8 figures. I don't care if you got a degree. I don't care if you just built a new house. At any moment I call you when I say report for service, for the good of the whole, ninja, all I want you to do is burn the bridges and say I'm about that life. That's the destiny for some of y'all. And I don't care. Some of you all may say, well, I'm finna click out. But see, we're at a turning point in society. We're at a very crucial stage where the changing of the gods and the changing of the goddesses has been underway for a moment, but it's expediting. And some of you, because the war is intensifying, I'm gonna call you in the spirit. I'm gonna call your ass, and your life is gonna be targeted because that's the best I can make of it. I said what I said, and I know good and damn well you ain't hearing this from nobody else. But I'm gonna tell you something for real, that should move your spirit. Some of you, your life don't even belong to you. If I gave birth to you, I get to tell you what to do with it. I said that. I said that. I said it. Y'all got too many shows out here online. You talk too damn much. You got all this pontificating, these disclaimers, these stipulations, all of these reasons for delay. You're enjoying this counter matrix too much. And so because you want to coast along with this gradualism, you want to be at ease and just enjoy your life. Eat your filet mignon. I believe in all that. Eating good and living good, even in war. But don't you ever forget that the new world to come requires builders, soldiers, and real warriors. I'm going to be having some more high-end schools coming. I do a school that's coming called Hannibal. That's just for men. It's a 60-day high-end school. I did my previous one called Treasures of Darkness. This is really Treasures of Darkness too, but it's called Hannibal. I'm doing another upcoming 90-day high-end women's course for ISIS. And then I'm doing a third high-end school for men and women. That's going to be for 1 month. That's a higher-end school. And it's going to be about the Fertile Crescent. I'm going to be giving you real secrets and powers from the ancient Sumerians and Akkadians. But you're going to get it from the goddess. You ain't going to be talking about nobody online. They're just chit-chatting about the Anunnaki. That's good. But I'm meant to give you powers. And it just might shock you where it really came from. I am not raising up men that don't understand that they have the power to be a great householder, more economically and spiritually, as the provider and the protector. So it doesn't matter what's in your pocketbook now, but to be connected to me, you are required to give more money and give more time. The energy, even if you're a man right now that's broke and scared to death, you're the very ones that need to be looking to come to my class and make the investment. Because there is something we can do about energy that is fearful. And there is something that we can do spiritually with your energy to recalibrate you to become a better householder, which your two major function is to provide and to protect. In every sense of the word. And for my goddesses, my Isis school is about using your goddess energy, your womb, to manifest destiny. All kinds of things. That's coming in the upcoming weeks. So stay tuned for that. But everybody that's under the sound of my voice, I said everybody right now, you need to be clicking that link to come to my Ancestors webinar in 2 weeks. I don't care what you got going on. I don't care, damn it, if it's church that day. I don't care if it's work that day. Make the little minimal investment for your lineage and your bloodline to get the knowledge that I'm getting ready to give you about your true ancestral history. Invest in yourself because you're going to be a part of a collective ritual that I'm doing to help clear out some of lineage curses. And then to start to reactivate your bloodline powers so that you can begin to see shifts and changes in your material world. The powers that be don't want you to know that it's your bloodline that controls trade lines. That means economics. And I give you the wisdom and the history. That's the reason why people that come to my stuff say the stuff that they say. See, some of you all that are mockers, you don't understand why they be going on and on about Vicki's revelations. I don't have nothing to prove to you here. So no, I'm not going to give you all the juice online, dummy. No, I'm not that arrogant and ego to where I'm going to drop esoteric knowledge just to make you get tickled. No, people got to resonate with what I'm saying. And if you feel a resonance to what I'm saying, perhaps it is your ancestors that's connecting and drawing you to this. Somebody said they want the black man out of here. Yes, they want the black man and the black woman out of here, but specifically the black men as protectors. But let me tell you something. Some of you all are in different kind of religions and you weak. And inside you know you weak. And you're scary because they're trained to make us like that. That's normal for us because of what's in the atmosphere. And I'm talking about not only literal atmosphere, but I'm talking about the spiritual atmosphere and what they got in front of our eyes and in our ears. We're programmed to fear. And so my goal is to get you an environment. So number one, you will understand your destiny and to put you in a position to deal with those particular energies and to recalibrate you as a householder. That means to provide and to protect in every way. But it starts from somewhere and it takes time. So yes, so not only do I say it's a high-end school, I say no. The next few months of your life don't belong to you. Yeah, that's how they go. It ain't just you investing money. No, your time. And I will kick out a man or a woman that cannot, for the upcoming months they're going to be in my class, if they cannot dedicate to that intense work, I will kick you out and give you your money back. Yeah. Maybe give you your money back if you've been in the class for a minute and I see you acting the fool. No, I keep your money. You get out of here. Because change doesn't come unless you are actively reorienting your life. You cannot continue to live your life the same way and get new outcomes. If you want something you never had, you got to do something you've never done. That's why I'm telling you, don't move past and go get a burger to eat after I'm telling you to sign up for the Ancestors webinar. Don't get distracted and go do some other project and don't click that button and make the investment, save your seat and show up July 31st. Don't move on to something else like it's more important. No, your existence, your bloodline, and your spiritual lineage ain't nothing else more important than that. It's actually not. Because everything you see came from everything you can't see. You stuck in the matrix. We see everything going on around us, and y'all still playing and moving on with your life like it's supposed to be going on like that. And then just move on to whole other subjects. And then just start doing new activities like that matters more than what I'm talking about. Or you get your haters to start talking about somebody always wants something. They always pushing something. Yes, fool, because your ancestors and spirit know this where you at. They know your mind is real easy. It's so fragile and it goes every which way, to and fro, like the wind. You get distracted easy and your mind is corrupt and messed up that you believe that everything else is important to make that investment in but your actual existence. And those that control the airways, they mess with the algorithms and they track you because they know you're going to mock. You're predictable. They know you will come against what I'm saying and you will go back to your normal, logical, mundane existence. Docile, dead woman, dead man walking. While the Epstein class is eating little kids and murdering them for fun and sexually violating them. And you just sitting up here saying, eating your popcorn. What? I can't believe that. What? They did what? Look at this Instagram. They said they did this. What? And that's all you're going to do is what? I can't believe. Some of you all will say, why they letting truth come out like this? They so sloppy. No, they know they can tell you the truth because they know you ain't finna do nothing. All you're going to do is just say it's the truth and you're going to go back to living your life and they're not going to jail. They're not going to get the electric chair like they deserve. They're not going to get the firing squad after they convicted in court like they deserve. They know you're not going to do no follow-up and demand that they be held accountable. So yes, they can come out the closet with all the truth. Because you ain't about to do nothing. When you're in my environment, you ain't got no choice but to change. You got to move into a different environment if you want to be different. How many of you all know that if a fish is out of water for too long, it dies? So the environment matters. And how many of you all know that if we put you underwater for 16 hours straight, you're going to be out of here likely because you're not meant to exist in that type of environment. So your environment that you're in has everything to do with the reason why you think and move like you do. But you think it's your thoughts. You think this is just how it's supposed to be. You actually think you had something to do with that, not even knowing that you're controlled. If you want something you never had, you've got to do something you've never done. Time is of the essence. You're getting older. And all you're doing is taking a shower, eating your dinner, going to work, and doing it all over again. You're more than what meets the eye. Take a risk and discover greater depths about your beginnings, about what's really in your bloodline, what's actually in your spiritual energy, who your cosmic family is. And then get activated so that you can start tapping into that new you. And once you do the work on you, because you know who you are and you know what activities to now engage in, that means that necessarily and subsequently, everything around you begins to shift. But you have to first make the investment in you. You have to first nurture that new you. I don't give a crap that you know that you are made of stardust. But what you're doing with that genetic knowledge, what are the implications of you being stardust? You just knowing it and talking about it online? No. My job is to activate you in that. So my appeal is for a certain group of people. This is not compulsory, weirdo. So you don't get to say, well, I ain't finna pay that. Guess what? We don't want you there anyway. I don't deal with broke type energy. People know, my team knows. If anybody that's connected to me that's trying to participate in something and their energy is off and they're trying to grasp and hold on to money, they act like something is too much, we're going to give you your money back and you not come in. Because money is a spirit. It's vibrational. And y'all know that even you religious ones, because even one of your scriptures says where your treasure is, your heart is. But you just throw that away. You already know the ancient text that said if you sow sparingly, you reap sparingly. In other words, if you sow a little, you're going to reap a little. You already know the order of things says that you're supposed to seek first the kingdom. And then all the things will be added to you. But you still try to hold on to that little bitty money like somebody's trying to get over on you. But you don't have that energy for the water company, the energy company, or your job. Your spirit is broke. I don't want to do business with broke spirits. And I got plenty of financial goals that I want to hit. But my spirit ain't broke. And I want us to do this together. I want us to manifest together out of nothing. I don't care what the credit is. I don't care if you on the verge of losing your job, if you're on bankruptcy. I don't give a crap about none of that stuff. We're talking about creating out of thin air. That means that we're going spiritual with this. And we don't care what they say about us. We're willing to be crazy and let them be crazy with their 30, 40, and 50-year mortgage. And that's fine. All of us get mortgages, right? Play the game with the system. I'm just saying, don't be sitting here acting like this crazy when you're willing to sign up for that. And don't even think twice about it. That's all I'm saying. Yes, Vicki has bills. Vicki has obligations like everybody else. I make sacrifices that most of you will never know about. I pay a big price. And I put a lot of other people before myself. I sacrifice. But I'll be damned if I'm relegated to that system and if I'm not striving for a better one. The most ancient one. My name is Vicki Dillard, beloved. I can't wait to see you July 31st. Everybody sign up. Everybody join for the sake of you and your family. Share this link with others. Tell everybody else about it. Also, family, in the wake of the United States dollar falling, in the wake of the rise of other nations and other countries and other economies, with the wars domestically and internationally, with the injustice that we see, with the confusion from Trump, with the madness of the Epstein class, and so much more. What do you have to lose? Some of you are called for more. You're called for so much more. And it's only you that I'm after. I'm not after whoever else might watch this just for political talking points. I came here really for you. You hear me? I got too many other projects that I need to be focused on, me and my team, and application process that we need to be setting up before this. But I was compelled to do this Ancestors webinar. It's in 2 weeks. Join us. Go to VickiPlanet.com or click the link attached here. Save your seat today. Don't forget, change your life. I love you so much. I bow to you. You are my bliss. And I can't wait to see you again.